Hello! Hoje é dia de vocabulário de tudo o que está relacionado às estações do ano, the seasons. Are you ready? An astronomical season is one that is defined by the position of the Earth in its orbit around the Sun. The traditional definition of a blue moon is that it is the third full moon in an astronomical season containing 4 full moons. Autumn is the season of the year between summer and winter, when fruits and crops become ready to eat and are picked, and leaves fall. We like to travel in the autumn when there are fewer tourists. Autumnal is everything that is typical of autumn. This variety contains the flavors of pumpkins and other autumnal spices. Autumnally, in a way that relates to or is typical of autumn. The front porch of the inn was decorated autumnally with pumpkins, gourds, and other elements of the harvest. Clock, como todos sabem, é relógio. Ele é usado em alguns países para ajustar ao horário de verão. Put, set, or turn the clocks back. Put, set, or turn the clocks forward. Dead. In the dead of winter. It was the dead of winter, and the ground was covered in deep snow. Depth. The depths of winter. By the depths of winter, not much sunlight will reach the solar panels. Estival. Relating to or typical of summer. The estival heat was unbearable. Fall is the season after summer and before winter, when fruits and crops become ready to eat and the leaves fall off the trees. Next fall, we'll be back in New York. Indian summer is a period of calm, warm weather that sometimes happens in the early autumn. Midsummer can be the period in the middle of summer. Por exemplo, I don't normally take my holiday in midsummer. Or, midsummer can also be the summer solstice, the day of the year on which it is light for the longest period of time, 21st June in northern parts of the world and 22nd December in southern parts of the world. Por exemplo, it's midsummer sometime this week, isn't it? Monsoon is the season of heavy rain during the summer in hot Asian countries. Por exemplo, the failure of the monsoon would destroy harvests on which 1 billion people rely. Rain is formed by drops of water from clouds. Rain is forecast for tomorrow. Rainy season is the time of the year when a lot of rain falls in some tropical regions of the world. Por exemplo, now it is the rainy season and everything seems green and ripe. Season is one of the 4 periods of the year: spring, summer, autumn, or winter. Por exemplo, which is your favorite season of the year? Season is also the period of the year when something that happens every year happens. Por exemplo, how long does the hurricane season last? Season is also used if fruit and vegetables are in season. They are being produced in the area and are available and ready to eat. Por exemplo, fruit is cheaper when it's in season. Season is also used at the time of the year when many people want to travel or have a holiday. Por exemplo, Hotel rooms are more expensive in season. Seasonal is relating to or happening during a particular period in the year. Por exemplo, temperatures will remain below seasonal levels, especially near the Atlantic coast. Seasonality is the fact that something changes according to the seasons. Por exemplo, the seasonality of the tourist industry makes it difficult to find a permanent job in the town. Seasonally is relating to the particular season of the year. Por exemplo, although total unemployment has decreased, the seasonally adjusted figure has risen slightly. Spring is the season of the year between winter and summer, when the weather becomes warmer, leaves and plants start to grow again, and flowers appear. Por exemplo, Janet's coming over for a couple of weeks next spring. Spring fever is a feeling of excitement because the weather suddenly becomes warmer in spring. Por exemplo, but tonight there seemed to be a sort of spring fever in the air. Springtime is the season of spring. Por exemplo, cattle are often moved out to pasture in springtime and are rehoused in the autumn. Summer is the season of the year between spring and autumn when the weather is warmest. Por exemplo, last summer they went to Australia, and 2 summers ago they went to Brazil. Summer solstice is the time in the year in the middle of the summer when there are the longest hours of day. Por exemplo, in the northern hemisphere, the summer solstice falls in June. Summertime is the season of summer. Por exemplo, you should see the flower garden in summertime. It's beautiful. Vernal is related to or happening in the spring. Por exemplo, the color green would indicate simplicity and vernal productiveness. Wet season is the time of the year when large quantities of rain fall in some tropical regions of the world. Por exemplo, in the wet season, mosquito activity is increased. Winter is the season between autumn and spring, when the weather is coldest. Por exemplo, I think you tend to eat more in the winter. Winter is also a verb that means to spend the winter in a particular place. Por exemplo, a lot of older people from northern states winter in Florida or Arizona. Winter solstice is the time in the year in the middle of the winter when there are the longest hours of night. Por exemplo, Stonehenge is aligned with sunset at the winter solstice. Wintertime is the season of winter. Por exemplo, like most beach resorts in the wintertime, it's almost deserted. If you are not following us, you're probably never going to see us again. If you are, then congratulations. You're growing every day. Se você não nos segue, provavelmente nunca mais nos verá. Se já nos segue, parabéns, você está crescendo a cada dia. Ah, não se esqueça de curtir, comentar, compartilhar e salvar. See you!